I'm back in Frithsden today, at Frithsden Beeches. Now Frithsden Beeches is the older part of Ashridge Forest. Much older trees, what most people see up by the Bridgewater Monument and the gift shop and the cafe up there. There's not that many enormous trees there, but some of these, they reckon, are over 600 years old. Now, let's just take a quick look at a couple of these whoppers before we go and have a look at the tree that I came here for. Quite a famous tree. There's one there, look. That's a whacking great beech tree, that is, look. And just over behind it there's another one. I mean, they're all over the place, look, off there in the background. That one just down there. Tucked away around the corner. Some really nice big beech trees here. But this is the one, I think this is the one that I've come to see. This one that's fallen over. Now, contrary to popular belief, this tree here is not the Whomping Willow from Harry Potter and the prison in Afghanistan, or whatever it was called. That's actually over on Berkhamsted Common, just between North Church and what's it called? Dudswell. That's it, just between North Church and Dudswell. That's where the Whomping Willow is, which isn't a willow at all. It's another enormous beech tree. And like this one, I think this is why the two get confused. Like this one, that tree also got blown over. Nothing whatsoever to do with Disney, or whoever it was who made those films, hammering their CGI electronic capturing equipment into the trunk. Oh no, it was nothing to do with that it got a sudden fungal infection and died and blew over. This tree here, I think, is the one that they call the Frithsden Beech, and it appeared in a few films. It was in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. It was in a film called Maleficent, something like that. It was also in another Harry Potter film. I think, I've not seen any Harry Potter ever, but I think they were saying that this is the tree which Harry Potter met his friends at before they went to the Quidditch match, if that means any more to you than it does to me. It blew over, I think, about 10 years ago, this one. And we will go over to Berkhamsted Common one day and see what we can find of the remains of the Whomping Willow. But this massive, great big beech tree here, and there's another massive one there, look. And behind it is another one which has fallen over. This beech tree here featured in a number of high-budget movies. And I really like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Actually, I thought that was a brilliant film. Let's just have a quick look at this other great big one that's blown over, and then we're going to go and see an old ice house. Just a very quick little walk today. I've got to be over in Toddington this afternoon, but this is really nice walking weather. This autumn sort of temperature and the low light, the sun low in the sky. I think it's really, really nice walking weather. Some of my favourite. So I thought I'd just quickly pop out and have a look at something that was going to be nice and easy to find. There we go. Look, that's not quite as big as, that's not quite as big as that one laying over there, is it? I think that one over there probably is what was known as the Frithsden Beech until it fell over. Now let's quickly pop across the road and we'll go and have a look at that ice house. There seems to be a fair bit of confusion amongst people about the features in these woods at Frithsden Beeches. That tree we just went to look at, the movie tree from Prince of Thieves and all those, a lot of people say that that's the Whomping Willow, which it isn't. The Whomping Willow is very definitely just a mile or so down there, Berkhamsted Common. There's another one thrown into the mix as well. Somebody was saying that there's a big old yew tree which is also blown over, and that was also used in, I think, Harry Potter. So you can see how these various movie trees, all of which have blown over quite recently, are causing a bit of confusion. But this ice house that I'm going to see, which used to belong to Ashridge House up there, the old ice house was, originally I thought I was coming to find something called Rose's Hole. Somebody said to me, oh, there's a little structure in the woods with an iron railing across the front. It's some sort of cave, and it's called Rose's Hole. Somebody else described it to me as the Bat Cave. Now actually Rose's Hole is nothing to do with this ice house, as it turns out. Rose's Hole is an old gravel pit. I think I might have located it on the LiDAR. We'll see if we've got time to go and have a look at that. This is a quick walk today. I've got to get off. But the ice house is not Rose's Hole. Rose's Hole is a separate thing with its own interesting little story. I'm not very far from that ice house. I've got my tripod with me. Although there's an iron gate across the front, I'm hoping I might be able to extend my tripod in there and have a look down into the bottom or up at the ceiling. And I've got a nice bright torch with me as well, so I can maybe shed a bit of light on the situation. Just over there, I think. This is all looking very man-made and deliberate. You can see this big ditch that goes round here. A bit of a mound just next to it. Now I know that the ice house is cut into the side of a bank. We're at a bank. What's that down there? I think I can see a bit of brickwork. I think so. Yeah, there's some sort of little arch there. Oh, bingo. There's our ice house. Oh yeah. Nice. I don't think we're going to see much without my torch. Oh, it's not too much of a stretch to get the camera in there on the tripod. Let's have a go at that in a minute. 18th century, that is. Belonged to Ashridge House, and it's where they'd store their ice in the winter. When the ice formed, they'd chop it all out of the ponds and throw it down in there as a kind of an ancient refrigerator. There's one also which I'd like to go and find one day. This one being brick, look. There's also one over on the Little Gadsden estate, which is just across the other side of the valley. Now that one, as a, I don't know what you'd call it, a lintel I suppose, as a lintel at the top of the entrance, they've got an enormous great big pudding stone. I've seen pictures of it. Little Gadsden's a big estate. I don't know exactly where it is. I'm going to have to do a bit more work to try and find that. So this is what I was originally told was Rosie's Hole. It's not Rosie's Hole. Let's get the torch in there and see what we can see of the interior brickwork. Yeah, there you go, look. I should have really charged up my torch before I came out, eh? But it's bright enough. You can see the bricks down there, look. I'm not 100% sure how... Oh, I nearly dropped my torch down the hole. That's better. Yeah, you can see the brickwork down there. I'm not sure how deep down it goes. Let's risk the camera on the end of the tripod and see what we get. Okay, here goes then. Let's poke it through and see how far we can get without dropping it down the hole. Oh, that's terrible, isn't it? You can't see much at all there. Certainly can't see the bottom. Well, anyway, I can't even see what I'm filming here. It was worth a try, wasn't it? Ugh. That wasn't very successful. Where's my torch? There we go. Right, that's the ice house. Let's go and see if we can find this old gravel pit that's known as Rose's Hole, and I'll tell you about the buried treasure. I'm going to have to do lots of walking and exploring around here. I really like the feel of the place. It's all a little bit spooky, you know, and there's lots and lots of interesting stories, which I'm still researching. Probably not in time for a Halloween video. I'll be back for you in a minute. Firstly, let's see if we can find Rose's Hole. Now I know it's not the easiest thing to find a historical gravel pit in the woods under all the bracken and the brambles, but LiDAR to the rescue, I did find a feature just up the footpath on the right, up here opposite the pub, that looks very much like a man-made pit. This bit right here, here's the road, here's the Orford Arms, here's the footpath. That looks like the spot. Got these interesting looking banks and ditches running all through the woods around here, and if you look closely they actually appear to be made of flint. I don't know if you can see in amongst the leaves there. You probably can't very well on the camera because there's so many leaves, but these are actually, there's a good bit, look, these are actually mostly made up, from what I can see, of flint. Now I know there is a bit more Grimm's ditchery that runs through these woods. I actually thought it was a little bit further up the hill towards the golf course there, and I'm not aware that Grimm's ditch was ever built out of flint. I'll be interested to know what those features might actually be. Now I've been walking a little while trying to find Rose's Hole. That over there looks like it could be quite promising. I can see a sudden drop off in the trees. Let's see if that's our spot. Oh yes, it looks promising. Yeah, there we go, that's what I was seeing on the LiDAR. Now although there were lots of holes showing in the ground in the woods, most of them were very round and very small, and I'd say quite obviously root holes where large trees have blown over in the past and left an almost perfectly circular, in most cases, dip in the land. But this, look, there's no tree did that. That's huge and very steep and deep. Oh look, badger probably. It's dug out some big lumps of chalk and flint on its way down there. It's a real mixture of ground around here in these woods. You've got chalk, you've got flint, I've seen lots of clay. It seems to be a real mishmash. And of course Rose's Hole here was a gravel pit by all accounts. Let's just get down and we'll see if we can find any buried treasure. Now there was a pamphlet published in Victorian times telling the story of Mr. Rose who had a dream, and in his dream he dreamt that over here in the old gravel pit in Frithsden there was buried a chest of gold, but he would only be able to extract that chest of gold if you did it in complete silence, without uttering a single word throughout the entire process. So he came over here with his spade and his pick, and he started digging. He brought a friend with him to help him. The two of them are digging away, and Mr. Rose, all of a sudden, he struck something metal, and it was an iron chest. And as he scraped the soil and the gravel away from the top of the chest, he let out a large expletive, an involuntary expletive, at which point the sides of the pit started to cave in on him and rebury his treasure. Very nearly took his life. But the two of them got away. They got out with their lives intact. But because he uttered that expletive as he hit the top of the chest, no gold for Mr. Rose. And this has been known ever since as Rose's Hole. I couldn't actually find any information on the gravel pit itself, how old it was, whether it was contemporary with Mr. Rose, or if he'd come back to some old Roman or prehistoric excavation. I'm not sure that they had that much use for gravel in prehistory, to be honest, although the Romans certainly did. Yeah, this flinty mound that I keep finding bits of in the woods, I don't think this is the bit of Grimsditch on the map. We're not quite close enough. And this actually seems to be some sort of raised platform in the woods, doesn't it? I'd love to know what its original purpose was. It's very intentional, and it's very straight and angular, very deliberate, and very flat on top. Okay, it's got trees on it now, but whatever was there was a very little flat plateau in the woods. Is that the Alford Arms I see? I do believe it is. Well, as I'm at Frithsden Beeches, I thought a pint of Beechwood Bitter from the Chiltern Brewery might be appropriate. It's really good. That's a really nice bit of that. And just behind me up there is Beechwood Stables as well. Couldn't get a more fitting beer really, could you? Now, just have a very quick look behind me here. Remember this house? This is the one with Es Quam Videris on the front of it, that Latin inscription which means to be rather than to seem, and it's got all of these funny murals carved into the outside of it. Well, weirdly, I was driving through the Ashridge estate a few days ago, down a little track that goes through the middle of the woods. I saw another house, same style, same murals on the front, and the same Latin inscription as well, Es Quam Videris. Only about maybe a mile and a half in that direction. Deep in the middle of the woods, sitting there all on its own. This creepy old house looking the same as that one. Something going on there, so there's lots of things for me to look into about this particular tight little area. What indeed is that all about? Something going on there. I'm going to have to look into that, and I will be back here at some point soon to report back on my findings. Anyway, I've got to go off and see my nephews and nieces this afternoon. We had a birthday this week, so we're having a lunch at the garden centre. I'll see you later. Bye bye.